We welcome you to Moody Park here in Trenton, New Jersey for an evening of ACBL baseball. The New Jersey Kings hosting the Bergen Metros here this evening from Moody Park. Corey Williams on the mound for the Kings, facing Nico Ong in the visiting Bergen Metros. The Kings entering 3-8, coming off of a doubleheader win against the Ocean Osprey on Saturday. They now sit 7th out of 8 teams in the Wolf Division, beginning ACBL play so far this summer. 2-1 the count on Nico Ong, playing third base and leading off for the Metros here tonight. Drop to short. Sestawicki charges, gloves it, and throws across in time for out number 1 here in the top half of the first inning. The rest of the lineup behind Nico Ong. Lorenzo Miola's shortstop hits second. Nick Bergamoto at second base hits third. Richie Paltridge, the first baseman, cleans up. Matthew Stork, the right fielder, hits fifth, batting sixth. The center fielder, Brandon Shanley. The catcher, John Carollo, hits seventh. Noah Rodriguez in left field hits eighth. And the pitcher, Chris Lamond, rounds things out for this Metro squad, who enters play 7-4, third in the Wolf Division. First pitch from Williams to Miola, misses high for ball 1. The Metros salvaged the last game of a 4-game series against the Generals this past weekend to get back on the right track. That pitch misses high. It's 2-0. Metros now third behind the Generals and the Matrix in the Wolf Division. One of 3 teams with a winning record, including the aforementioned Generals and Matrix. Big swing and a miss, and it's 2-1. Williams into the motion and deals on the 2-1. On the outside corner, it's 2-2. Williams making his second appearance of the ACBL season. He started his first. 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, struck out 7. Back in his only other appearance so far this summer. 2-2 pitch in the dirt. Good block by Will Wander behind the plate. Full count now. Nick Bergamoto, the second baseman, waits on deck. Miola, that is, enters play hitting .265 so far this summer. 9 hits and 34 at-bats. Waits on a 3-2 and chops it to third. Menino, the nice pick, and fires across in time, flashing the leather, and there's 2 away.
Number 4, second baseman, Nick Bergamoto.
And now it's Nick Bergamoto with 2 away and no one on in the top of the first inning. Bergamoto's been one of the Metro's best hitters at .417, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs thus far. Williams deals on the 0-0. Breaking pitch is in there. It's 0-1. Williams, the rising sophomore at Millersville University, for a very competitive and talented Division II program. That breaking pitch doesn't catch his own. It's a ball and a strike. Williams made 5 appearances for Millersville, started 3 games, just over 11 innings, allowed 12 earned runs. ERA in the mid-9s, but again, a very talented conference. A grounder to second, over the glove of Stakowski and into right field. Unable to get in front of it, Bergamoto will reach on the E4, and there is 1 on with 2 away here in the top of the first. And now Richie Paltridge with the runner on at first. First pitch is in there for a strike. The Kings have been trying to improve defensively behind their pitchers. Early on this season, the lack of defense has cost them some wins, but has improved Saturday, again winning the last 2 games of the doubleheader against the Ocean Osprey. Bergamoto starts, then stops, and that pitch is on the outside corner for strike 2. Those two wins against the Osprey for the Kings, 13-7, and then 7-2, winning in convincing fashion. Even the series 2-2 against the Ospreys, and put the Kings directly ahead of them, 7th of 8th in the Wolf division. 0-2 the count on Richie Paltridge with the run on first, 2 away. There he goes. It won't matter, though, as Paltridge comes up empty on the swing. Retiring the side here in the top of the first. Metros can't score any. They get a runner on the air, but can't bring him home. We move ahead to the bottom half of the first inning. The Metros 0 and the Kings coming to bat. Mike Charavallo digs into the box to begin the bottom half of the first inning. 0-0 game here at Moody Park between the Metros and the Kings. Facing the right-hander pitcher Chris Lamont, he takes his first pitch on the outside corner for a called strike one. Charavallo, Stemhagen the DH, Sestawicki the shortstop, followed by Taneski cleaning up, hitting from the first base spot. The 0-1 pitch is outside. Ryan Jarros playing left field, hits fifth. The catcher Owen Waywander hits sixth. Batting seventh, Connor Stakowski, the second baseman. Marco Menino, the third baseman, hits eighth. Then Tyler Provost rounds out the starting nine in center field. Again, this lineup will face Chris Lamont on the mound for the Metros. Charavallo enters play, leading this Kings team in average and stolen bases, hitting 400. 8 of 20, in large part thanks to a terrific two-game doubleheader. The rising freshman Bucknell doing great against the Osprey in that doubleheader. In total, his last 3 games against the Ospreys, he's 5 for 10, 4 runs, an RBI, 3 walks, and 3 stolen bases. 3-1 the pitch. Misses outside. It's a leadoff walk to Charavallo.
Number 19, the DH, J.D. Stemhagen.
And J.D. Stemhagen steps into the box with the leadoff runner on first. Stemhagen at .318. Average has dipped down a little bit over the past 2 games. Was up around 400. He's 7 of 22, but still has been one of the Kings' best hitters. Charavallo, wasting no time, takes off for second. The pitch way outside, and Carollo's just going to eat it. So Charavallo adds to his stolen base total, now 8 on the season. 1-0 the count on Stemhagen, who was 1 for 2 with 2 walks in his last game against the Osprey. Early runner in scoring position for the Kings. That pitch misses outside. Stemhagen again hitting throughout this Kings order. Hit 4th in a few games against the Osprey because he was one of the few Kings hitters who was squaring up the ball, getting on base. That one way outside. It's now 3-0 on J.D. Stemhagen with Justin Sestawicki waiting on deck. Lamont having a difficult time finding the strike zone early on. Deals on a 3-0. That pitch is in there for a called strike one. Stemhagen 2 RBI on the season. Already a runner in score position for the Kings on the Charavallo walk and stolen base. Now a 3-1. Half-hearted swing, a little blooper right to Paltridge at first. Easy play for him, and there is one away.
Number 14, shortstop Justin Sestawicki.
So now an RBI situation for Justin Sestawicki, who last played on the 15th against the Osprey, hitting .261. In that last game, 0 for 2 with 2 RBIs on 2 sacrifice flies. He also walked as well. UNC Tar Heel with the Bucknell Bison on second base and trying to steal third. The pitch is swung on a miss. The throw down is in time to nail Charavallo. Great throw by Carollo. In the series against the Generals, the Metros had difficult times, Carollo especially, keeping the base runners in check. It's an 0-1 to Sestawicki. That pitch is in there quickly, 0-2. And the Kings have definitely been aggressive on the base pass, taking advantage of the Ospreys as well. And Charavallo's been their best base stealer, but now no one on and 2 away for Sestawicki. That one in the dirt, 1-2. But Charavallo's been really aggressive, and he's been really good at swiping those bags. That time, though, can't get 90 feet away. 1-2 to Sestawicki. That one just misses. It's 2-2. Lamont on 2-2. Doesn't catch his own full count. Zane Teneski waits on deck. Chris Lamont, who we've seen hit for the Metros against the Generals and the Kings, but he can also pitch as well. He's done it before. 3-2 pitch, that is. That pitch misses outside, so from 1-2 to a full count walk, and now Sestawicki's on with 2 away here in the bottom of the first.
Number 44, first baseman Zane Teneski.
Zane Teneski digs into the box, hitting .240. His average has risen over the past several games from down below 200. That pitch gets by Carollo and skips to the backstop. Sestawicki will jog up to second. He's in scoring position with 2 away. Teneski at .240, 6 of 25, but his last 2 games as part of that Ospreys doubleheader, 3 for 5, 3 RBIs, and 3 walks. On the 1-0 pitch, he takes outside. And that's part of the production that the Kings not only need, but expected from Teneski from the middle of the order. And that's part of the reason why the offense up to the doubleheader win had been fairly quiet. Kings weren't getting production in the heart of the order, weren't driving in any of the runners on base. Teneski heading the count 3-0. He's already walked 9 times so far this summer. We'll see if he gets the green light. Waits on that one and watches it sail in for a strike. Ryan Jaros, the left fielder, waits on deck, followed by Owen Whalewander. Kings looking to strike first against his talented Metro squad. A 3-1. Not close, and Teneski draws the 3rd walk of the inning.
Number 38, left fielder Ryan Jaros.
And now Ryan Jaros, who's playing in his first game for the Kings since June 10th. A little over a week ago against this Metro squad where he was 0 for 3. 1 hit in 20 at-bats for him so far this summer. Looking to get it going. 0-0 pitch from Lamont is outside. Jaros an RBI, but again, looking to get on track here in summer play. 1-0 on the way, and it's on the outside corner for a called strike. Especially considering Jaros hit .435 his senior year high school, a .462 career hitter throughout his 4-year high school career. 1-1 pitch way outside, 2-1. Impressive stat for Jaros: 40 hits, 40 runs, and 20 runs batted in to go along with 34 stolen bases this past senior season. Ahead in the count, 2-1. Goes after that one, behind on it, and fouls it out of play. What's crazy is that Jaros kind of combines both the power and speed element. He slugged .742 for his career in high school. His junior, he actually hit .478, so incredible numbers throughout his high school career. That one's way outside. Full count, 3-2, 2 away. Sestawicki and Teneski will be off and running with the pitch from Lamond. Again, Owen Waywander waits on deck, but it's a full count pitch to Ryan Jaros on the way. Runners take off as that pitch is flied into right field. Stork settles under it and makes the grab to put an end to the first inning. The Kings get 3 base runners but can't bring any across at the end of one. We're all tied up at 0 here at Moody Park. Matthew Stork begins at the top of the second inning, facing Corey Williams back on the mound after posting a 0 in the top of the first. A bouncer to second, Stakowski the glove and the throw to first in time on a nice charging play. 1 pitch, 1 out to begin the second.
Number 25, center fielder Brendan Chanley.
Center fielder Brandon Shanley digs into the box. We said it throughout the Metro series with the Generals, but Shanley technically listed as a pitcher, but he's gotten more playing time with Bergen as a hitter. Playing in his 3rd game as a hitter. He's only made 1 appearance as a pitcher. The rising freshman at Brown University, the guy who's tasked with playing center field for the Metros here this evening, waits on a 1-1 from Williams. And a breaking pitch sails right off of his helmet, and he will jog down to first for a 1-out base runner.
Number 20, catcher John Carollo.
Brings up the catcher Carollo with one on and one away in the top of the second. As Chanley takes off for second, the pitch is high, the throw down, in time to nail him. Great throw by Owen Waywander behind home plate. And just like that, after a caught stealing attempt, there's two away. So despite the fact that these two teams have had plenty of success stealing bases in the earlier goings this summer, two caught stealing attempts through the first inning and a half of play. 1-1 the count to Carollo. Williams fires that one high and in. Carollo got just about all the starts for Bergen in their series against the Generals. So a little bit of Nico Ong, but not much of D'Onofrio. A high fly into center field, making the call, and the catch is Tyler Provost to bring an end to the top of the second. 3 up, 3 down for the Metros, and a caught stealing attempt on a great throw by Owen Waywander keeps us knotted up at 0 as we move ahead to the bottom of the second. Owen Waywander digs into the box to begin the bottom half of the second, facing Chris Lamond in his second inning of work. Waywander, Stakowski, Menino, 6, 7, 8 due up for the Kings in the last of the second. First pitch is in there for a strike. Waywander comes in 3 of 30. He's struggled so far this summer. 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. But a solid series against the Osprey, 2 of 9, including 3 runs. Waits on an 0-1 and takes it low for a ball. Made that nice play to throw out Brandon Shanley on the base pass for out number 2 in the top half of the second. 1-1 pitch is lined into right center field, and that will hang up for Stork in right field to make the catch for out number 1. Decently struck, but there's one away in the bottom half of the second. And now it's Connor Stakowski, who has brought his average up to 250 after a 4-for-8 showing in the doubleheader, including 3 runs and an RBI. Goes after the first pitch and slaps it off of the glove of Nico Ong at third base. Barehanded try by Miola, but Stikowski in way ahead of the throw. And there is 1 on for the Kings. They'll score that as a hit. So Stikowski continues his hot hitting, and there's a runner on for Marco Menino. As Lamont deals to Menino, who checks his swing and holds up. Ong getting the start at third base for the Metros. He's a catcher by trade. So again, not at his traditional position. As they'll check in on Stikowski. But the Metros in a situation where they have had a busy schedule, finishing up a series with the Generals, played a 2-game doubleheader on Saturday. They did get a day off yesterday on Sunday, as is typical, but as this is grounded up the middle, Miola, nice play, flipped to second for 1, back to first in time to retire Menino. So the Kings get their first hit of the evening, first hit of the game, but Stikowski erased on the double play by Menino. And the Kings go down in order here in the second. Fast-moving game so far. We move ahead to the top of the third. Still 0-0. Third inning kicks off with Noah Rodriguez, the left fielder, stepping in to face Corey Williams, who has been sharp on the mound thus far. Rodriguez attacks the first pitch and skies one into right field. This will chase Charvalho back, but he will make the catch. Loud out number 1, but an out nonetheless. Here in the top of the third. Rodriguez, who just recorded that out, is another guy who's listed as a pitcher for the Metros. He pitched on Saturday against the Generals, where he came on in relief and actually gave up the game-sealing runs on a 2-run home run by Chris Reeder, which enacted the mercy rule. Chris Lamond, the pitcher who's in the starting lineup, and all this brings us back to the point to wrap it up and tie a bow on it with Chris Lamond and Nico Ong. Nico Ong, a catcher playing third base. Noah Rodriguez, a pitcher playing left field. And Chris Lamond, who's played more of the field than he has on the mound for the Metros. Perhaps an indicator that, yeah, they've played a lot of games as of late, but their depth's being tested right now in terms of the amount of arms they have available and the number of position players they have available. Guys with conflicts. Again, this is a makeup game from 2 weeks ago, in which the smoke canceled that contest. 2-2 on Lamond. So, again, not originally supposed to be playing on a Monday, but both of these teams played a doubleheader on Saturday. 2-2 from Williams. Caught on and missed. Lamond down on strikes. Whalewander throws down to first to complete the out. There's quickly 2 away in the third.
Number 14, third baseman.
Back to the top of the order, and third baseman Nico Ong. But again, not typical that you see teams move a catcher out to third base and a pitcher out to left field. And typically you just see designated hitters hit instead of the pitcher. But again, you wonder how much depth the Metros have right now after playing a doubleheader. We've mentioned it throughout the general series with them that they have a limited amount of pitchers compared to other teams in the league, especially the Kings and the Generals. Long ahead of the count, 1-0, looking to get something started. Only one hit through 2.5 innings so far. Mile-high pop-up. Shy of first base bag, Taneski comes in and makes the catch to put an end to the top of the third. Williams once again strong here in the top of the third. No hits, no runs, no one left on. These two teams trying to get on the scoreboard. Kings coming to bat with things tied up at 0. Tyler Provost making his first plate appearance of the evening. 9-1-2 for the Kings in the bottom half of the third, tied up at 0 here at Moody Park. Corey Miller here with you. As Lamont back to work, missing outside, 1-0. Provost getting the start in center field. Bumped down to ninth, hitting 179 after a 1-for-7 showing in the doubleheader against the Ospreys. Scored 2 runs as well as that one has popped out of play. Provost 3 RBIs, now 3 runs on the season as well. Kings have multitude of outfield options, but it's just been a question of who's available to play as of late. 1-1 in the dirt, 2-1. For example, tonight Ryan Jarros, typically an infielder, getting the start in left field tonight for the Generals. So they're not the only ones forced to having to move guys around who are not accustomed to playing certain positions. The Metros more instances of that, but a few for the Kings. 3-1, the count to Provost. That one misses high. It's a leadoff walk. The 4th free pass issued by Lamond so far here tonight. And back to the top of the order, and Mike Charavallo, who began the bottom of the first with a walk, a stolen base, and then a caught stealing. Again, a guy who's been the Kings' best hitter so far this season. Looking to get on the board. We're tied up at 0. Outside, ball 1. Charavallo showed that even with a crowded outfield and lots of talent in the Kings' order, that the way he's been producing, he's going to stay at top of the order. Big swing and a miss, 1-1. With the exception of perhaps that caught stealing attempt back in the first, he's been such a smart hitter and player for the Kings. A guy who's going to grind and work hard day in and day out. He's done that at the Hun School and will continue to do it at Bucknell University in the fall. That one way outside as Provost started and stopped at first base. 2-1 on the Kings' leadoff hitter. And Charavallo, with both his hits, his on-base skills, and his base running, he's really kind of been a catalyst for the Kings at the top of the order. That base running's been an added bonus, and he's feeling confident himself now with 8 on the season. 2-1 pitch is slapped up the middle, right at the second baseman. Bergamoto back to first, looking for the double play, but that one gets away from Paltridge. So Charvallo reaches on the fielder's choice. Provost out at second, and there's one away.
The DH, J.D. Stemhagen.
And now it's J.D. Stemhagen. No Reed Lapicus at the top of the order tonight for the Kings. Getting the break after he had a terrific doubleheader. Him and Charvallo have been exceptional the past few games at top of the order. Check in on Charvallo at first, and he's picked off. You have to remember back in the first, Charvallo was caught stealing, trying to advance to third, and now as he was getting into his lead, was picked off. That pitch outside, it's 2-0. And you got to wonder now for Charvallo, is the confidence too high in his base running abilities? He's stolen 8 bases now, but is he trying to do it too often and not getting good reads? Not in good position. Stemhagen with the shot into the right center field gap. That one over the head of Stork and off the wall. Stemhagen digging for 2. He's there easily with the stand-up double with 2 away. Easily the furthest hit ball tonight. And Sestawicki will come to bat with a runner in scoring position and 2 away. He walked his first time up. The leadoff men for the Kings continue to produce. The problem is Charvallo's been caught on the base pass twice. Possibly could have scored there on that double. Instead, there's 2 away. Still an RBI situation for Sestawicki, who will cash in. A line shot into right field. Stemhagen around third. He scores easily. An RBI single for Justin Sestawicki. Kings jump out in front, 1-0.
Number 44, first baseman Zane Teneski.
And that's what the Kings love to see from Sestawicki. The guy, if he can maintain his hitting, it would be really great, hitting third consistently throughout the summer thus far. Especially as a tenured guy at UNC. Big hit there, putting the squad up 1-0. And now Zane Teneski, who walked as well his first time up. Lamont's first pitch in the dirt, and a good block by Corollo. And you got to think with that strong showing in the doubleheader for Teneski, possibly he's out of his slump, as they've continued to entrust him hitting 4th or 5th for the Kings all season. And that would be a big boost if he can start to come around on the ball, drive in some runs on extra bases, ahead in the count 2-0. The walks have been there throughout the summer. There's no doubt about that. Pitchers have continuously worked around him, an intimidating figure in the box, ahead in the count 3-0. Make that 2-1, actually, that last pitch on the outside corner. Two-one now, Lamont deals. That pitch easily a ball. And now it's 4-0. It looked like it was actually 2-1. It looked like the umpire called that last pitch a strike. It was a ball, though. So a 4-pitch walk to Teneski. And now there's 2 on with 2 away for Ryan Jaros. First pitch from Lamont, way outside. And the Kings are hoping that Jaros can follow suit with Teneski in terms of breaking out of his slump, but hitting just 100 so far this season. 1 hit. As that pitch is lined into right field, through the hole, and into right field for a base hit. Sestawicki flying around third. He scores. Stork has trouble picking up the ball cleanly. Teneski getting the wave. He will come around to score. Jaros then. A big turnaround second. Ong threw it back. It then hit Jaros. Nearly a little sour end to what was a big base hit for Jaros and what is at least going to be 1 RBI on the single. The ball got away as Stork had a tough time picking it up initially and then threw it away. So a single and an E9 gives the Kings 2 more runs and now a 3-0 lead. Taneski able to score all the way from first. And Jaros up to second on the E9. And this is what the Kings needed out of the heart of their order. Getting on base and driving in runs. 3 in so far here in the third. And now it's Owen Wellwander taking the ball. And the Metros throughout the series with the Generals, the problem was they don't have a ton of available pitchers. So even if their guys throwing reasonably well, they need him to go throughout the game. That's a line shot down the left field line, a fair ball. Jaros getting the wave around. He scores easily. Whalewander's trying for 2. The throw down's not going to be in time. Owen Whalewander switches places with Ryan Jaros. He has an RBI double, now 4-0 Kings.
Number 12, second baseman, Connor Stikowski.
And now it's Stikowski who singled his first time up back in the second in a mound visit for the Metros. Again, back to that last point before the Whalewander double. It's just the Metros have limited pitching. Again, not accustomed to playing here on Monday. Typically 2 days in between a doubleheader on Saturday, and then we'll play again on Tuesday. But with the limited number of pitchers, there's only so many arms they can trot out there, which means they need their starter to dig deep into games. And we saw several big innings against the Metro starters, in part because they had a clean slate coming into a certain inning. We saw this with John Leahy against the Generals, but then a rough inning spells trouble for the Metros because they have no one warming up in their bullpen. In part because, 1, the pitcher's been throwing well, but in 2, they only have so many arms available. A very finite amount. 1-0 to Stikowski in the dirt, brought by Corollo. It's 2-0. 2 pitchers used in each game against the Generals in the doubleheader on Saturday. Lamond, the first to start here tonight for the Metros, in trouble. A 4-run third inning for the Kings. That pitch misses high. It's 3-0 on Stikowski. And this was the problem for the Metros against the Generals. It was the walks. The Generals getting some hits as well, but Lamond putting players on with free passes, and they'll put another on here. A 4-pitch walk to Connor Stikowski with Marco Menino due up.
Number 27, third baseman, Marco
Menino grounded into a 6-4-3 double play to end the second. Walks and big innings. The story of the Metros' struggles against the Generals in their 4-game series, losing 3 of those 4 games. Menino attacks the first pitch and sends it foul down the right field line. But the Kings swinging well, in addition to the fact that the Metros are giving them some free passes. Again, 20 combined runs against the Osprey in the 2-game doubleheader on Saturday. 0-1 pitch as Jaros takes off for third, the double steal, and Corollo's not going to have a chance at either base runner. Terrific jump by Ryan Jaros, and now there's 2 runners in scoring position with Stikowski moving up to second. 1-1 the count on Marco Menino. Looking to make this inning even sweeter for the Kings. Checks his swing and takes a ball. Wellwander on at third. He doubled in a run. Stikowski just walked. Both just stole the base, and it's a 2-1 to Menino. Way outside, 3-1. And some of the misses here by Lamond haven't been particularly close. Many pitches have been in the left-handed batter's box. We'll see how much longer he can last. The Metros just getting someone warm in the bullpen. 3-1. That pitch is in there on the outside corner, full count. If Menino can get on and Provost will come to the plate, it will mean the Kings have batted around here in the last of the third. They've already put 4 up on the Metros. Lead 4-0 last of the third. Full count pitch to Menino. 2 runners on, and now make it 3. Menino takes ball 4 outside, and the bases are loaded for Tyler Provost. Provost began the bottom half of the third with a walk, then was retired on a fielder's choice, but a grand RBI situation for him here with the top of the order waiting on deck. You would think would see something good to hit, but Lamont struggling to find the strike zone. A breaking pitch in there for strike 1. Terrific to see this Kings lineup finally finding its groove, at least right now, offensively. Coming alive against the Osprey and doing so thus far against a talented Metro squad. 0-1 to Provost on the way. That's in the dirt, 1-1. How much longer can Lamont stay in this game? It's also a question of how many arms available the Metros have. A 1-1 now. 2-1. And pitchers throughout the series with the Generals through limited innings when they got into trouble, but they've needed them to eat up more. A 2-1 now. Behind on that pitch, it's 2-2. And especially the way that Corey Williams has thrown through the first 3 innings. Could be a situation where the Kings hold on to this lead. Two to Tyler Provost with the bases loaded. That breaking pitch catches his own for a called strike 3, but not before 4 runs come in for the Kings. Jump out emphatically on 5 hits. 4 come across. It's 4-0 Kings. We move ahead to the top of the 4th here at Moody Park. With his team giving him a 4-run cushion, Corey Williams back on the mound here in the top of the 4th. Faces the number 2 Bergen hitter, Lorenzo Miola, who wraps that first pitch to third. Nice job by Menino to cut that off and throw across in time to retire Miola for the first out in the top of the 4th.
Number 4, second baseman, Nick Bergamatto.
Bergamatto next to hit for the Metros. He grounded out his first time up. Williams heading into his sophomore season at Millersville University fires in a strike right there. A guy who played basketball and baseball at Camden Catholic High School. A very talented right-handed pitcher. 1-1 now. He actually had a perfect game grade of 8.5, and this is a guy who probably could have played Division I baseball, but someone who the Millersville coach said that fell through the cracks because of the pandemic. Making things difficult for all athletes, but Williams playing at a very competitive and talented Millersville program. Caught on and missed, strike 3. Bergamoto down swinging, 2 away in the top of the 4th.
Number 12, first baseman, Richie Paltridge.
As Paltridge steps in, he struck out swinging his first time up. Williams deals on the 0-0. Make it 0-1. That fastball catches the outside corner. We told you that Williams had made a few appearances at Millersville, something which is extremely tough for freshmen to do, given the immense amount of talent Millersville has on their baseball team. Slap foul, 0-2 on Richie Paltridge. But that just shows you how talented Williams is. Even though he struggled a bit, he said his goal there is to develop as a baseball player, and he's been a big addition for the Kings thus far. Through 4 shutout innings as Paltridge goes down swinging. 3 up and 3 down for the Metros. Here in the top of the 4th, all Kings thus far leading 4-0, moving ahead to the bottom half of the 4th. The Metros making a few changes here in the last of the 4th with the top of the order and Mike Charvalho for the Kings. New pitcher in Vincent Civitella. As that pitch fouled away, it's 0-1. He takes over for Chris Lamont, who lasted 3 innings, gave up 4 runs on 5 hits and an error behind him as well. Lamont now moves to first base, which then moves Richie Paltridge, the original first baseman for the Metros, out to left field, and Noah Rodriguez, technically a pitcher, is out of the game. 1-1 the count on Charvallo, who's reached base twice on a walk and a fielder's choice. That pitch misses high. Civitella making his third appearance this summer, 1-0 in 2 games, both out of the bullpen, just under 3 innings of work, 2 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and has yet to allow an earned run for the Metros. 2-1 pitch is popped. Right side of the infield, Lamond shading over into foul play, and he can't make the grab. Lamond was moving all around, trying to shade under that foul ball. So Charvallo doesn't reach, but it's going to be an error on Lamond, who's had a rough outing so far this evening. The 4 runs coming against him against the third, knock him out of the game, moving back to first base, and an error in his first appearance in the field. They'll do it again. 2-2 is high. Now it's a full count with Stemhagen waiting on deck. Charvallo looking to reach base safely for the 3rd time this evening. Full count pitch is inside, and he'll do just that. And that's been the impressive thing about Charvallo. Not afraid to take his walks, lumped in with the hits.
Number 19.
And now it's J.D. Stemhagen. What's amazing is that Stemhagen and Charvallo, 2 of the Kings' best hitters, hitting the top of the order tonight. 0-0 pitch in there for strike on Stemhagen, are 2 guys who have 0 college experience thus far, but have wasted no time being productive. Way behind on that one. It's 0-2 on Stemhagen. But that's been the story, whether it's Stemhagen, Lapikis, or Charvallo. The leadoff guys at the top of the order have been getting things done for the Kings, but up to this point, haven't been driven in by the heart of this order. 1-2 now on Stemhagen. That changed in the bottom half of the 3rd when Sestawicki, Teneski, Jaros, and Whalewander all got on base. Charvallo staying put, and Stemhagen coming up empty on that hack. 1 away in the last of the 4th, with Charvallo still on at first.
Number 14, shortstop Justin Sestawicki.
Brings up Sestawicki, who singled in the game's first run in the bottom half of the 3rd. Later came around to score as well. Big hack on that one. It's 0-1. As Charvallo takes off for second, and he can jog down there now as that pitch makes it all the way to the backstop. Charvallo likely would have had the base stolen regardless of where the pitch was. So his 2nd stolen base of the evening, and now there's a runner in scoring position for Justin Sestawicki, looking for his 2nd RBI in as many innings. Two and one the count on him. Teneski waits on deck as Sestawicki pops that one foul. Again, it's been a story where the Kings' heart of the order has struggled up until the past few games, and was a storyline from throughout their struggles in the early going this season. Again, the 3-8 record. As Charvallo starts then stops, and Sestawicki sends that one to the backstop, staying alive at the plate, and they'll do it again on the 2-2. And it's become a scenario for the Kings where they just don't necessarily, it's not just the heart of the order, it's some of the bigger names in their lineup where they need them to start producing. Another 2-2. That pitch in there for a called strike 3. 2 strikeouts now for Civitella out of the pen. And now it's Teneski with a runner on at second and 2 away. Has walked twice and scored a run here this evening. Again, Teneski, up until the past 2 games, was one of these key players along with Jaros on deck, who has so much talent but wasn't producing, and that was affecting how many runs the Kings were scoring. Now 1-1. You need your top guys in the lineup, especially when they're in the heart of it, to produce. Teneski a big swing and dribbles it foul. Especially considering that Teneski was rated as the best first baseman in New Jersey by perfect game in his class. The rising freshman at St. John's waits on a 1-2 and watches it miss high, now 2-2. The discipline's been there in terms of drawing walks, but it looks like the bat may be beginning to get going for Teneski. A 2-2 offering, Charvalho on the run, pitches low, the throw down is not close, gets away from Ong, and Charvalho's going to come around to score. Nico Ong was never even covering third, and he's going to be charged for his first error of the evening. Again, he's a catcher by trade. Carollo threw it down anyways. Ong was kind of standing right on the left field line behind the bag. 3-2 to Teneski is popped foul behind home plate. Again, but Ong was never in good position, never really ready for that throw. It got away from him. You got to credit Charvalho for seeing that and being aggressive on the base pass. That has continued throughout this game so far. 5-0 Kings, last of the fourth. Teneski getting a piece of that one. And right now it's the Metros who have struggled defensively. That error on Ong, the third through just under 5 innings for him so far. It's another 3-2 pitch to Teneski on the way. Misses low, and Teneski draws his third walk of the game.
Number 38, left fielder Ryan Jaros.
It's Ryan Jaros who walked in, or excuse me, singled and scored a run his last time up. Well, we talked about how Teneski was the top-rated first base prospect by perfect game in the class of 2023. Ryan Jaros can claim even better. He is the consensus top player in New Jersey in the entire class, regardless of position. 0-1 pitch to him. He is grounded up the middle. A nice backhanded stop by Bergamoto, but he can't transfer it cleanly. Bergamoto gloved it, but as he tried to transfer it to his throwing hand to possibly get Teneski at second, couldn't do so cleanly, and Jaros is on with his second single of the evening. Again, that ball was hit hard, too. And now Whalewander, who doubled back in the third inning. On that foul tip, it's 0-1. So Jaros now on at first with the single. He has more hits tonight than he has had all season coming into this game. Again, the Kings are hoping he can get going as well. An 0-1 to Whalewander. Big swing, another foul ball, and it's 0-2. Again, you don't want to say that too many guys have to get going, but they'd love it if Whalewander could produce too, especially since he has college hitting experience at Lehigh, making appearances there as a freshman. 0-2, a high chopper to short. Miola charges. Off-balance throw to first is on the money to bring an end to the fourth inning. The Kings get another run in on a pair of walks and a base hit, including a Metros error. It's 5-0 Kings as we move ahead to the top of the fifth.
at right field.
New pitcher for the Kings to begin the 5th inning. Alex Keene replaces Corey Williams,
Leading off for the Metros, number 34, right fielder.
who had a terrific outing, 4 innings pitched, didn't allow a single hit, no walks either, struck out 4 through 4 no-hit innings for Corey Williams. Gives way to fellow Millersville player, rising sophomore Alex Keene, making his 2nd appearance of the ACBL season, facing Matthew Stork to begin his outing, and it's 1-1. 1 game for Keene, 1 2/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. 1-1 pitch is low for 2-1. Another change for the Kings. Eric Hartman comes in to replace Tyler Provost in center field and then switches positions with Charvallo, who is now in center. So now all 3 D1 guys out there for the Kings. A chopper, 2 seconds, Stakowski making the play and throwing out Stork with a little bit of zip on the throw. And there's 1 retired in the top of the 5th.
Center fielder Brendan Chanley.
As Chanley digs into the box for the 2nd time, was hit by a pitch in his first outing. Besides an error, Chanley was one of just 2 base runners to reach base against Corey Williams, who you got to think, if he can throw like that the way he did tonight, especially against one of the better teams in the Wolf division, he's going to be an asset for the Kings this summer. Again, that was only just his 2nd appearance, but looked strong throughout, surrendering no hits. Check swing from Chanley. He went around and it's quickly 0-2. Here in the top of the 5th inning at Moody Park, Corey Miller here with you. 5-0 Kings, a 4-1 third, and tallying another in the 4th. 0-2 pitch by Keene is outside, and it's 1-1. One-two pitch, tapped slowly, foul. Keene, unlike Corey Williams, did not see any appearances on the mound at Millersville this past spring. He was a guy who was originally graded as a shortstop coming out of high school, but his turn to pitching has been effective on the mound throughout his high school career. Again, now at a top-tier Division II program. 1-2 offering to Chanley. He got a piece of that one, too. It remains 1-2. Keene said he chose Millerville because of their developmental program. Very common for guys to go there, get some appearances, get better, and then transfer to Division I programs. Another 1-2. Big swing and a miss. Chanley down on strikes. There's 2 away to begin Keene's outing out of the bullpen.
Number 20, the catcher, John Carollo.
The catcher Carollo, off of a flyout back in the 2nd, digs in for his 2nd plate appearance. Keene delivers on the first pitch, low and away, 1-0. That pitch is in there as well, and it's 0-2. 1-1, rather. We'll see how long Keene can last. Again, pitching the 5th of 9 innings here tonight against the Metros, who trail 5-0. Carollo, a big swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. One-two pitch from Keene on the way. Grounder to 3rd. Staying down on that is Menino. Gunning low to 1st, and it gets by Teneski. A low throw by Menino, who had plenty of time, allowing Carollo to reach an E5. And now there's 1 on with 2 away in the top of the 5th.
Number 11, the pitcher, Vincent Civitella.
So 2 errors for the Kings, an E4, now an E5. And Civitella, the pitcher, hitting 8th. The 2nd pitcher, or 3rd, we could even say, with Lamont hitting as well. But Civitella replacing Noah Rodriguez, 8th in the order. 0-1 pitch is low, and it's 1-1. Now 5 errors between these 2 squads. The Metros were fairly solid against the Generals in terms of defense, but have let it get away from them so far here tonight. Civitella got a piece of that one, now 1-2 with 2 away, runner on at first. 5-0 Kings lead in the top of the 5th. Keene trying to get out of the inning as that pitch is lined softly into center field for a base hit. Carollo moves up to second, and the pitcher Civitella's on with a 2-out base hit. Looked like maybe it was off the end of the bat, but it found green grass nonetheless. And now Chris Lamond steps into the box now at first base. Struck out swinging his first time up. Metro's trying to scratch a run across for the first time this evening. Keene's first pitch outside. Well, unlike the Metros, the Kings have several arms available. Keene just the first they've used out of the bullpen. And keep in mind, as that pitch is in the dirt for ball 2, that the Metros only needed to fill 7 innings. Again, yeah, they're playing a doubleheader, so 14 in total, but this game, 9 innings here tonight. So we'll see if Civitella, who's on with that 2-out base hit at first, how long he can go. Replacing Lamond, who's hitting now, and popping that one foul for strike 1. Carollo on at second. He reached on the air by Menino. And Civitella singled. He's on at first. It's a 2-1 to Chris Lamond. Behind on that one, and it's 2-2. Keene trying to strand these 2-out base runners. That 2-2 pitch. In there for a called strike 3. Went to the breaking pitch and fooled Lamond, who strikes out for the second time this evening. The Metros threaten for the first time here tonight, get 2 runners on, but can't bring them home. They still trail the Kings 5-0 heading to the last of the 5th. Vincent Civitella back on the mound for his second inning of work. 7, 8, 9 in the Kings order. Connor Stokowski, Marco Menino, and then Eric Hartman, who came in to replace Tyler Provost in the top half of the inning. 1-1 on Stokowski, who singled in the second, walked in the third, and stole a base as well, making his third plate appearance of the evening. Kings again coming off of that doubleheader sweep against the Osprey, which was much needed because it not only evened the series at 2-2 against the Osprey, the series in which they lost the first 2 games, but the offense really came alive, and that's carried over so far here tonight. 2-1 pitch, swing and miss, 2-2. And the Kings definitely needed some wins against the worst team thus far in the Wolf division after having to play the Generals, the top team, and then the Metros, who are third. Nasty looking breaking pitch. Stakowski comes up empty, and there's one away.
Number 27, third baseman, Marco Menino.
Marco Menino, who's grounded into a double play and walked, digs into the box for the 3rd time. And if the Kings can come away with a win here tonight, 1-0 on Menino, split the series with the Metros, could possibly show that they've made a lot of progress. And again, those 2 wins against the Ospreys meaningful, but a win here tonight against one of the better teams in the Wolf division, again, one of just 3 teams out of 8 with a winning record thus far in ACBL play in the Wolf division, would be even more meaningful and show that you could possibly compete with some of the more talented squads. And to do that, it's 1-2 now on Menino. You've needed your more talented players and guys in the heart of the order to start producing, and they've done just that. The curveball stays high, and it's 2-2. On the way from Civitella, a liner right at Miola at short. Right there. He makes the catch, and there are 2 away in the last of the 5th.
Number 3, right fielder, Eric Hartman.
So now it's Eric Hartman stepping into the box for his first time tonight. Again, came on as a defensive replacement for Tyler Provost in the top half of the inning. And on 1 pitch, he will head down to first as that pitch sailed inside and hit him. Was about to say that Hartman's playing in just his 3rd game so far this summer. That was just his 5th at-bat. So now 3 walks and a hit by pitch. He's on at first for the top of the order, and Mike Charavallo. Attacks that pitch and skies it into center field. It backs up Shanley, but he eventually has plenty of room to make the catch and bring an end to the 5th inning. Hartman reaches on the hit by pitch, but nothing else doing for the Kings, who still lead 5-0 as we move ahead to the 6th. Alex Keene returns for his 2nd inning work out of the bullpen and faces the leadoff man, Nico Ong, for the Generals, for the Metros, that is, who have gotten just 1 hit, no runs here this evening. That pitch in for a strike, and it's 0-1 against Ong, who is grounded out and popped out so far here this evening. Swinging on the 0-1 pitch and skying it into center field where Chiaravallo waits on it and makes the grab for the first out in the top of the 6th. Now it's Lorenzo Miola who's grounded to second twice this evening.
Lorenzo Miola.
So even though the pitchers for the Metros have surrendered 5 runs this far, the lineup debatably has struggled even more. They've tallied just 1 hit. Yeah, Williams and Keene have been good so far, the 2 Millersville products, but it would appear that this starting lineup for the Metros is perhaps their biggest strength, 1-1 on Miola. With the amount of D1 guys they have, yeah, they have D1 pitchers, but the amount of returning D1 hitters they have, it's certainly one of the top lineups you would think, just in terms of on paper, the players they have, as Miola will wait on a 2-1 pitch, including him in the ACBL. 2-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss, it's 2-2. But the lineup has struggled perhaps just as much as the pitching so far, and that's been worrisome because, again, the lineup would appears a bigger strength with more depth, more D1 guys. The pitching not as much depth, and that's been difficult to come by. 2-2 pitches in the dirt for a ball. But with the lineup, you thought you knew what you're getting, but it's gotten to a point where the Metros need their stronger hitters to step up, just like the Kings have needed, and find its identity. Full count pitch on the way, a little jam shot into right field, but Hartman is played perfectly, and Miola's retired for the 3rd time tonight. And that's perhaps been the biggest problem, as Bergamoto will step up to the plate, reached on an error in the 1st and struck out in the 4th. He's been the Metro's best hitter so far. But the problem is you have all these D1 guys, but what's the identity of the lineup? It's a lot of guys who can get on base, but who's the powerful threat in the middle of the order? He shows bunt, comes up empty, and he pulled it back, so it's going to be a 1-0 count. Looks like the 2 umpires discussing whether or not Bergamoto was able to pull back that bunt attempt. Not sure why there wasn't just a signal down to the field umpire. But it looks like they do confirm that last pitch a ball. So Bergamoto ahead of the count, 1-0. He shows bunt again. This time he gets it down past the pitcher's mound. Menino charges, bare hand throw to first. Pulls Taneski off of the bag. Looks like Bergamoto would have had a base hit either way. So a bunt base hit gives the Metros their 2nd hit of the night and puts a 2-out base runner on for Richie Paltridge.
Number 12, left fielder Richie Paltridge,
who has struck out swinging twice so far tonight. Late on that pitch and sends a dribbler down foul, the 3rd baseline. The Metros have tried a few guys in the middle of the order. Stork, Partridge, over the past 2 games, trying to find an RBI guy, a power guy. That pitch in the dirt, 1-1, but neither have really been able to produce. At least early on in the season, we saw D'Onofrio in the lineup for him hitting 4th, and he has plenty of college experience at Fairfield. Haven't seen him the past few games. You wonder whether or not he's just available to begin with. 1-1 offering. A pop-up foul again down the 3rd baseline for Richie Paltridge. 1-2 the count on him. 2 away in the top of the 6th. 5-0 Kings. Bergamoto, the 2-out bunt base hit, leads off of first. Alex Keene on the mound in his 2nd inning of work, replacing fellow Millersville product Corey Williams. A little line shot past the outstretched glove of Stokowski into right field. So it's a base hit for Partridge. He didn't get a hold of that one, in on the hands a little bit, but nonetheless reaches on the single. And there is 2 on for Matthew Stork.
Number 35, right fielder Matthew Stork.
2 ground outs to Stokowski at second base for him so far this evening. But for the second straight inning, the Metros have 2 on with 2 away. First pitch from Keene in there for a strike, but unlike last inning, neither are on via an error. These runs would count against Keene's line should any come across to score. A dribbler up the middle, Sestawicki and Stokowski converging. They can't make the play. Rounding third and coming to the plate is Bergamoto. The throw skips to the backstop, allowing Paltridge and Stork to advance. An RBI single for Matthew Stork. And then an E8 on Charavallo on the throw, allowing the runners to advance. And for the first time tonight, the Metros are on the board. It's now 5-1 Kings. That ball not hit particularly hard as Chanley backs out of the way of that one, 1-0. It looked like Sestawicki had the best position on that ball to at least get a glove on it and keep it in the infield. Big swing and a miss, 1-1. But once it escaped in the outfield, Bergamoto easily scoring. And then the throw, allowing the 2 base runners to move up 90 feet. Good looking pitch, it's 1-2. So that run will be an earned run against Keene. And again, the Metros on the board, now 5-1 Kings in the top of the 6th. The 1-2. Chanley takes high. And Bergamoto got that rally started with a 2-out bunt base hit. The Metros' best hitter electing to drop one down, and it's paid off. That one is grounded to second. Stokowski backing up, making the grab, and making the play to first to end the top of the 6th. The Metros get on the board thanks to 3 2-out base hits. They still trail by 4, 5-1 as we head along to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Stemhagen fouls that first pitch from Civitella off. Behind in the count, 0-1, beginning the last of the 6. Now 5-1 Kings. The Metros getting one back on the RBI single by Matthew Stork in the top half of the inning. It's 0-2 on J.D. Stemhagen, who is 1 for 3, including a double and a run scored. Stemhagen hitting second in what is a spot that has been occupied by Mike Charavallo the past several games, but Charavallo bumped up to leadoff in the absence of Reed Lapicus, who will miss roughly about 2 weeks with the shoulder injury he sustained in the last game of the doubleheader against the Ospreys yesterday, sliding into third. Jammed his shoulder. And again, that's a big loss for the Kings, and because Lapicus has really gotten it going at the top of the order and has set the tone. The good news is, as Stemhagen waits on a 2-2 pitch, and that misses outside. The good news is that it seems like the rest of the order behind him has started to get it going. And with Charavallo and Stemhagen at the top, good replacements for Lapicus as he will be missed. But Stemhagen will reach base for the second time this evening with a leadoff walk. And Justin Sestawicki now stepping into the box.
Shortstop, Justin Sestawicki.
A walk, a single, an RBI single that is, and a strikeout. Complete Sestawicki's line so far here tonight. 0-1 as that first pitch finds his own. It looks like Sestawicki back into the groove of hitting after spending his time at UNC as a pitcher. Stemhagen diving back safely. And it would definitely be great as Teneski and maybe Jaros, the guys around Sestawicki, can start to produce, can definitely start to feel less pressure. Lifts a pop-up to the second baseman, Bergamoto, who easily gloves it for out number 2. Sestawicki's remained in that 3-hole spot throughout the summer. Thus far, pops out there, and now it's an opportunity for Zane Teneski.
Number 44, first baseman, Zane Teneski.
With one on, Stemhagen the leadoff walk. Teneski has walked 3 times here tonight. So while that average still sits at 240, the on-base percentage increasing dramatically for Teneski, who takes that pitch outside. 1-1 with 1 on and 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. Sends that pitch out of play, foul down the first base line. And to be great for the Kings, they've gotten the on-base part of Teneski's game, but if they could get the power and the RBI opportunity, it'd be even better. As they love him getting on base, but with the guys in front of him doing so, it'd be even better if he could drive them in. Because the crazy thing, he's hit 4th and 5th almost exclusively so far this summer. He has 12 walks, only 4 RBIs. A weak dribbler up the middle. Bergamoto steps on the bag himself. Throw to first is in time to complete the double play. Nice job by Bergamoto to step on second and then throw across to first to complete the double play. Teneski set down, bringing an end to inning number 6. A leadoff walk by Stemhagen goes by the board after the pop-out and the double play. Kings still on top by 4, 5-1 as we move ahead to the 7th. New pitcher for the Kings here in the top of the 7th. Dylan Parsons takes over on the mound, replacing Alex Keene, who went 2 innings, allowed 4 hits, 1 earned run, struck out 2. And now he yields to Dylan Parsons, the rising sophomore at McDaniel College. From Hamilton, New Jersey, fires in strike 1 to John Carollo, 7-8-9, due up for the Metros. Carollo reached on an error his last time up. And the first thing you're going to notice about Parsons is that funky delivery. From Hamilton, New Jersey, in his 3rd game so far this summer, he's thrown 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 2 earned runs, a 3.60 ERA. A weak little liner into left field, which falls in front of Jaros for a base hit. Has trouble playing it, and that will allow Carollo to reach second. Now the 4th error of the evening for the Kings. Again, Ryan Jaros is a corner infielder by trade. But playing left field hasn't had any difficulties thus far. But a single and an E7 mean the leadoff man is in scoring position for the Metros. Again, and the story has been errors for the Kings. 4 of them this game were solid through the first 3 or so innings, but haven't been able to hold up the past few as the Metros trying to crawl their way back into this game with Civitella up, I should say, trying to help his own cause on the mound. 2-1 the count to him. Chris Lamont on deck, and then the top of the order for the Metros. Civitella's given them good length out of the bullpen thus far. Waits on a 2-1 pitch from Dylan Parsons. Misses outside, it's 3-1. The Kings, unlike the Generals, several arms to use out of the bullpen, despite, just like the Metros, playing a doubleheader on Saturday. But again, just more pitchers on the roster to begin with for the Kings. Full count now to Civitella. Facing the 6'3", 200-pound right-hander Dylan Parsons, 3rd pitcher used by the Kings this evening. With Carollo on at second, the full count pitch. Can't find the zone, and it's a walk for Civitella. The pitcher has reached base in both plate appearances, a single and a walk, and now there's 2 on with no one out for Chris Lamont, who struck out twice, looking his last time back in the 5th. Could likely see Parsons throw 2 innings, but we'll see how he does here in his first in the top of the 7th. 2 on, no one out, and now a 1-0 count to Chris Lamont. And Parsons is not a particularly hard thrower, but the way he delivers the ball, and if he can locate, can make it difficult for hitters. Facing traffic on the base pass here in his first inning of work, is still yet to retire anyone. Chris Lamont, the 9-hole hitter, beginning the evening on the mound, now at first base. Count is even at 1-1. A weak dribbler to third. Menino will go to second for 1. Back to first in time. Perfectly executed 5-4-3 double play. Moving up to third is Carollo, but now there's 2 away.
Number 14, 3rd baseman Nico Ong.
Now Ong with a base runner 90 feet away. He's 0 for 3 at the top of the order. Ground out flat and a pop out. Parsons' first pitch is high for a ball. And it tells you how much they value Nico Ong's bat. To the Metros, hitting him at the top of the order and putting him in the field regardless of the fact that third base is not his natural position. That pitch in there for a strike. It allows them to move Bergamoto down further in the lineup. Now at third. One. Chopped up the middle. Sikowski charges, and he can't get it. It bounces into center field as Ong will We'll wait for a decision. Coming across to score the Metro's second run is Carollo. On a base hit from Nico Ong.
Number 1, shortstop, Lorenzo.
And it is 5-2 Kings with Miola digging into the box. Even if Stakowski had come up with that cleanly, even for a catcher, Ong runs pretty well. And he's on at first with his first base hit of the night. Give him an RBI as well. Both of these teams now even with 6 hits. 5-2 Kings here in the 7th. Miola behind in the count. 0-1. 0 for 3 for him as well. Ong takes off. The breaking pitch is in there. The throw down will not nab Ong, as it looks like he kind of slid into the glove of Stakowski, knocking the ball loose. It's a stolen base for Ong. Again, Ong not really your conventional catcher in the way he hits, more of a on-base guy, and the way he runs the bases. He's at the top of the order because he can get on and steal bases, as he did just there. The 0-2 pitch to Miola now with a runner in scoring position. Way outside 1-2. Miola may be the key for this Metros lineup trying to turn it around, especially since he had such a great year down at Stetson as a freshman. Just hasn't been able to capture that same success at 265 coming into the game here today. A line shot into right center field. Hartman coming on to make a nice running catch and get Parsons out of the inning. Looked like for a second that would get down and give the Metros their third run, but not to be, as a nice play by Hartman caps off the scoring at 1. The Metros get a run on 2 hits and a walk. They get another back, but still trail 5-2 with the bottom half of the 7th coming up.
Left fielder, number 38, Ryan Jarrow.
Several changes for the Metros here in the last of the 7th, as Richie Paltridge now on the mound, replacing Civitella, who did a solid job, not allowing any runs in his 2 innings of relief. 1-0 the count to Ryan Jarrow, who taps that one foul. Kai Hero comes into the game. Another pitcher used in the field by the Metros here this evening. That pitch just missing. 2-1 the count to Jarrow. Hero comes into left field and moves Civitella, who was just on the mound, to first base, as the original starting pitcher, Chris Lamont, is now out of the game. 2-2 to Jaros, who is 2 for 3 with 2 singles. He scored a run as well. And what has been a solid performance for him. Goes after that pitch and sends it into the left center field gap, and that's going to get down for a base hit. Jaros going for 2, and he's going to get there easily, as Hero had a tough time picking it up cleanly. It is a stand-up double for Ryan Jaros.
Coming in the game in left field, batting in the 9th position, number 8, Kai Hero. And moving over to first base is Vincent Civitella. Number 24, catcher Owen Whalewander.
Now it's Whalewander after the leadoff double by Ryan Jaros. That ball was decently struck, but it was hanging up there for a decent amount. And in between both Hero in center field and now Chanley, that is in center. But it's a situation where, as it's 0-1 to Whalewander, you have a pitcher playing the outfield, and he's not accustomed to those situations, especially when you have 2 outfielders converging. If you have a typical outfielder left, quite possibly, Jaros would be retired. 0-1 to Whalewander is skied foul. But a clean double there for Ryan Jaros, who came into action here tonight with just 1 hit on the season. Now he has 4 after a 3 for 4 showing here tonight. And it's good to see the Georgia Tech commit producing here this evening. 0-2 to Whalewander. He's skied on the right side of the infield. Now over there for the Metros is Civitella, who makes the call on the catch.
Second baseman Connor Stikowski.
For out number 1. Jaros still at second for Connor Stikowski now. Kings perhaps looking to get 2 of those runs back, which the Metros have tallied in the 6th and the 7th. 5-2 in the last of the 7th. Kings over the Metros here on this Monday night affair between the Kings and the Metros at Moody Park. Corey Miller here with you. The Kings trying to improve to 4-8 so far this season. A 1-0. Make it 2-0. For the Kings, the other nice thing is, especially if they can nab a win, they're second against a talented Metro squad. As it's a 2-0 pitch to Stikowski, now 3-0. Can they really start to roll, since they don't have to play 2 of the best teams in the division in the Generals and the Metros? A 3-0 to Stikowski. Misses low, a 4-pitch walk to the Kings second baseman. And now it's Marco Menino, 2 on and 1 away. Facing Richie Paltridge. On the mound in his first inning of work, originally starting at first base and hitting cleanup. There goes Jaros for third. The throw down, not in time. Stikowski stays put at first, but it's a stolen base for Ryan Jaros. At Jaros' height, he doesn't look like a guy who's all that fleet of foot. But as Stikowski just started to break for second, looking right at him was Paltridge, and now he's in a rundown. Jaros broke for home, now hustling back to third. The throw is low. He's safe there. Stikowski now going for second. He's going to be thrown out. A crazy play. Stikowski began to break for second as Paltridge still had the ball on the mound and was not even into his windup yet. Paltridge was staring almost right at him. Stikowski went down to second, and it looked like he even could have gotten back to first safely. The 1-0 pitch to Menino's outside, 2-0. Because the Metros then tried to nab Jaros, who was trying to come home. He got back to third safely, and if Stikowski had stayed at first, he would have been on safely. And that would have been amazing if the Kings could have gotten out of that without giving up an out. But Stikowski then trying to go back to second, thrown out by Ong. So now it's a runner on third, 2 away, a 3-0 count to Menino. Holds off on that and takes a called strike 1. And that's a situation as it's now 3-1. Outside for a ball. And the second free pass issued by Paltridge since coming in. Where we've talked about how the Airs have come back to bite the Kings as Corolla will head out to the mound. But it's base running as well, where if you want to hold on to win these close games, fielding and base running are going to play two important parts in it. So far, the Kings still out in front by 3, but the Metros have hung into this game. Hartman steps up to the plate for the second time tonight, a defensive replacement back in the 5th, hit by a pitch in his only appearance. Lefty on lefty, and the first pitch is in there for a strike. Hartman, coming into this game, had played just twice, 4 at-bats, still looking for his first hit of the summer. As he bounces that one to first. Right there is Civitella, and he will step on the bag to bring an end to the bottom half of the 7th. The Kings threatened, could have gotten a run across, but some base running miscues bring a donut for the Kings in their half of the 7th. It's still 5-2. Kings leading over the Metros as we move ahead to the top of the 8th here at Moody Park. New arm on the mound for the Kings. The lefty Chris Caponis replaces Parsons, who lasted an inning. Gave up 2 hits, an earned run. And now Bergamoto, who actually scored the Metro's first run of the game back in the 6th, igniting a 2-out rally on a bunt base hit. Showed bunt that time, pulled it back, and it's 0-1. That'll pop up down the first baseline. He'll head out of play. And it's interesting to see the Metro's best hitter, a guy who is hitting over 400 so far this summer, trying to get on base twice via the bunt. The rising sophomore at Siena College, Nick Bergamoto, behind the count 0-2 against the new pitcher, rising sophomore at FDU, Chris Caponis, now 1-2. Capotis in his second game, second inning of work this summer, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts in his first. Guy who saw playing time at FDU this spring in the dirt, 2-2. 17 games in total for Caponis at FDU. Started one of them. An ERA just under 11 through a total of 19 innings. In his second inning here this summer, 2-2 pitch is skied into left center field. Shading over is Jaros making the call as he and Charavallo converged. But it is the left fielder making the call on the catch for the first out in the top of the 8th.
Number 12, pitcher Richie Paltridge.
Richie Paltridge, who began the evening at first base, now the pitcher. 1 for 2 with the base hit, or 1 for 3, that is, with the base hit. His last time up And takes a called strike one from Kaponis. Kaponis is a guy, as we said, mostly appeared as a reliever at FDU in the spring. 0-1 offering. Behind on that one, a jam shot to third. Knocked down by Menino. Fires across. Teneski smothers it, but the low throw allows Paltridge to reach. Again, Menino couldn't pick that one up cleanly to begin with. And E5, the second error on Menino this evening, allowing Paltridge to reach. And now it's Matthew Stork, who drove in the Metro's first run back in the sixth inning with an RBI single. That error on Menino, the fifth by the Kings so far tonight. Again, defensive struggles throughout their first now 12 games. The good news has been that their lineup is starting to get it going, so the errors haven't been as costly, but you're at a point where it's now a 5-2 game. What was a 5-run cushion, now a 3-1 cushion, and there's much smaller margin for error. And those errors at this point come back to bite you. Shattered bat, grounder to second. Stikowski ranges to his left and makes a nice play to get Stork, as moving up to second is Paltridge.
Number 25, center fielder Brendan Chanley.
That bat from Stork completely snapping in half. He's retired, and a runner in scoring position for Brandon Chanley. Paltridge on at second. He reached on the air by Menino. Chanley goes after the first pitch and pops it up. Stikowski on the outfield grass making the grab. So the error by Menino does not come back to bite the Kings, who still lead 5-2 after a solid inning of work by Chris Kaponis out of the bullpen. 5-2 Kings, moving ahead to the last of the eighth.
The Metros 2. back to left field, number 12, Richie Paltridge.
Another new arm into the game for the
Moving on
Metros,
for the Kings, center fielder, number 4,
with the
Mike
top of the
Carvalho.
order in Mike Giaravallo. Beginning the last of the 8th inning, Kai Hero comes in from left field to take over on the mound for Richie Paltridge, who replaces him in left field. So the two just switching positions. And Hero, who has been showcased as a pitcher, who had to play the field last inning, now back where he's comfortable on the mound. Hero's made 3 appearances so far this season, 2 of which have been as a starter. The rising sophomore at Belmont Abbey College, a 1-1 record for him thus far. In 8 innings pitched, 1-0 the count to Giaravallo. That one's in there, it's 1-1. Hero in 8 innings, 5 hits, 9 walks, 11 strikeouts, and 5 earned runs, an ERA in the mid-5s. A returner to this Metro squad from last summer. 1-1 to Giaravallo, who's reached base 3 of the 4 times he's come to the plate. Ties him up there. It's 1-2. Five to 2 Kings in the last of the 8th, despite allowing 5 errors. Perhaps trying to add an insurance run as they look to seal things off in the top of the 9th. So we've seen several pitchers from the Metros here this evening, but some of them are guys who also played the field as well. Hero, the 4th in total used by Bergen. And that wasn't as much the case in the doubleheader when they used 4 pitchers in total between the 2 games. Trying to avoid falling to 7-5 as that pitch comes inside and clips Giaravallo on the helmet. He appears all right as he heads down to first. And for the 4th time tonight, Giaravallo's on at first. Is Aiden Quinn, new addition to the Kings roster, will come in as a pinch hitter for J.D. Stemhagen, who concludes it 1 for 2 with a double and a walk here this evening. Stemhagen, the DH, and now it's the lefty Quinn making his first at-bat of the summer with the Kings. Leadoff runner on at first. No one out. 1-0 the count to Quinn. Hero deals. The ball low, and it's 2-0. Should the Metros fall here tonight to the Kings, as we'll wait for the 2-0 offering by Hero, it would be their 4th loss in their last 5 games. After losing 3 of 4 to the Generals, it's 2-1 now on Quinn. Giaravallo off and running. A chopper in fair play. Hero will let it roll, as now Giaravallo will head down to third, and he is going to be out. That ball was going to stay in fair play, allowing Quinn to reach. And a situation where we've seen Giaravallo be over-aggressive on the base pass now probably 3 times here tonight.
Justin Sestawicki.
And now it's Sestawicki with just a runner on first and 1 away. Would have been first and second, no one out. Hero deals the first pitch to Sestawicki for a called strike. But Giaravallo, he's reached base 4 times, and you applaud the aggression, but in the first he was thrown out trying to steal third, and then was picked off in the 3rd, leading off of first. And in that situation there, after walking, he would have gotten down to second, as Quinn would have reached with an infield single. But with Hero electing to let that ball roll down the third baseline, Giaravallo tried to then stretch it another 90 feet, 1-1 to Sestawicki, coming here from Kai Hero. Outside for a ball. But that ball was so close to the third base bag, all Hero needed to do was pick it up and toss it to Nico Ong, and it was an easy out for the Metros. So again, Charvalho doing a great job reaching base at the top of the order. He's been the Kings' best hitter, at least statistically. And he's been aggressive, but perhaps too aggressive. Getting into outs 3 times on the base pass here tonight. 2-1. In the dirt, gets away from Carollo, and jogging down to second is Aiden Quinn. And this game could look, I don't want to say drastically different, but still different than the 5-2 score if the Kings could cut out some of the errors and the base running miscues. Stokowski, another one in the last inning. Quinn leading off the second here. 3-1 to Stokowski. Can't locate that, and it's the second walk of the inning for Kai Hero out of the bullpen. Could have been bases loaded, no one out. Instead, it's 2 on with 1 away for Zane Teneski.
Number 44, first baseman Zane Teneski.
Who has walked 3 times himself and grounded into a double play his last time up. 2 runners on for him, 1 out in the last of the 8th. Holds off there, it's 1-0. One 0 pitch, check swing, and pops it foul. Well, the question with Teneski, as he was thumping, was whether or not he would maintain his spot in the lineup, but looks like he will, especially tallying a few hits in that doubleheader, and he continues to get on base via the walks. A power threat the Kings would really like to get going in that department. A chopper to third, but it'll roll foul. Especially if you have Jaros, who follows up on his 3-hit performance tonight. Even with Lapicus sidelined with the shoulder injury, if you're top of the order in Charvalho, and whether it's Stemhagen or Hartman, whoever is penciled in there, the lineup's starting to take shape for the Kings, and that's what's gotten them wins their past 2 games over the Osprey, and will play a big part in the win tonight, along with the pitching. We'll give him the win despite those errors and base running miscues. A 1-2 pitch now to Teneski. 2 on, 1 away. Runners on first and second, facing Kai Hero out of the Bergen bullpen. Wrap to third. Knocking it down is Ong. He's going to have to go to first, and the throw there is in time. Ong taking the high hop. Again, traditionally a catcher, knocked it down. By the time he picked the ball up, the only play was to first, and he was able to gun Teneski down. Both runners move up 90 feet, so a runner on second and third for Ryan Jaros, who doubled his last appearance. 3 for 4 night for him, 2 singles and a double. First pitch misses high. And Jaros we've seen on the base pass as well. Originally he was actually more kind of an on-base and speed guy, but he's worked to develop that power as a corner infielder, now more of an all-around player that we've seen more of here tonight in terms of hitting. Big hack there, it's 1-1. And they would love it if he could be a fixture in the middle part of this order. A guy who's been a national prospect, playing for Canes baseball, playing against guys and with guys throughout the country. A line shot into right field. That'll fall for a base hit. Scoring easily is Quinn. Right behind him is Sestawicki. A 2 RBI single for Ryan Jaros. Give him 4 hits all the evening. And the Kings get both of those runs back. It's 7-2 in the last of the 8th. One of the things we said early on tonight, as Whalewander steps to the plate, it wasn't really just the theme of the guys in the middle of the order not producing for the Kings. It was some of their biggest names, some of their best players in Teneski and Jaros, who they needed to get going to score runs and win games, and those two have answered, especially Jaros in a big way here tonight. Had 1 hit coming into the game, now has 4, and if those two can continue to get going, the Kings could possibly get on a roll and start compiling together some wins. Would be their 3rd straight if they hang on here tonight. 0-1 to Whale Wander. Breaking pitch inside, Jaros will stay put at first. So Jaros showing you why he received a perfect game grade of 9.5 and why he's a national prospect and the consensus top player in the state of New Jersey for his class. 4 hits here tonight. 1-1 to Whale Wander. It was 1 for 4 tonight, a double back in the 3rd, plating 2. He's seen a lot of Andrew Lombardi behind the plate, Whale Wander as well. As a D1 guy, he could be a big part of the lineup moving forward. Struggled thus far, but a solid freshman campaign at Lehigh for him. 1-2 away with a runner on at first. 2 runs in for the Kings. Jaros takes off for second, a grounder to third. Ong charges, gathers, and throws out Whale Wander. But not before 2 runs come in on the 2 RBI single by Ryan Jaros. Kings in prime position to take this one against the Metros, who are down to their final 3 outs. We move ahead to the top of the 9th, 7-2 Kings. Caleb Kempler on the mound to close things out for the Kings in search of win number 4 here on the season. 7, 8, 9 he'll face in the Metros order, starting with John Carollo, the catcher. Kempler in his 3rd game this season, he's thrown 5 innings pitched, allowed 2 earned runs, including a save. 0-1. In between innings, J.D. Stemhagen came up and asked that they play Enter Sandman for Caleb Kempler. He said that since he's the team's saves leader, he's technically their closer, but keep in mind that's only 1 save. But Enter Sandman, the famous intro song from Mariano Rivera. Not a safe situation for Kempler, who deals outside now 2-1 on Carollo. With this team getting 2 runs back on the base hit by Juros in the last of the 8th, now up by 5. But nonetheless, Kempler trying to end things and give the Kings the win. Good-looking breaking pitch. It's 2-2. A loss would move the Metros to 7-5. Their 4th loss in their last 5 games. Half-hearted swing. He went around. Carollo retired on strikes to begin the 9th. And there's 1 away.
Number 11, first baseman Vincent Civitelli.
Civitelli steps up to the box. A single and a walk for him. And what would be almost a back-breaking loss for the Metros as they salvaged that last game against the Generals on Saturday. In what was, again, it's never a positive to lose 3 of 4 games in a series, but salvage that last game on the back of a no-hitter by Montalvo. It looked like they were in better shape coming to the game tonight against a team which, with a near-reverse record of what they have, 1-1 the count on Civitella. Kempler deals in the dirt, but it's in there for a strike. 1-2 the count on Civitella, but it's a situation now for the Metros. We're coming into this game as Civitella swings and misses at the one in the dirt. Throw down to first is in time. 2 strikeouts, and there's 2 away. Metros down to their final out. And quickly back to that last point. Maybe coming into the game, especially winning that last one in no-hit fashion against the Generals, the thought for the Metros was how far behind in terms of talent and ability are they from the Generals, the top team in the Wolf division right now. But after dropping this one to the Kings, the answer could be by a decent amount. Kai Hero stepping into the box, 1-0. With not a ton of depth at starting pitching. Again, maybe not perhaps their top lineup here today, but dropping a game to the Kings, who are 3-8 thus far. Tough games for the Metros against the undefeated coming into that series Generals, but now losing a game to a team at the bottom of the division, perhaps answering the question that there is a good amount separating them and the Generals, but we'll see how they're able to do moving forward. 3-0 on Kai Hero, who just pitched the bottom half of the 8th inning. Big swing and miss, 3-1. And if you're the Kings, not an ideal start, but you've racked off 2 much-needed wins against the worst team in the division in the Osprey, and you've upset, possibly here tonight, one of the better teams in the Metros. And you've gotten, as Hero walks on 5 pitches, one of the 3 better teams in the conference. You take 2 from the Metros. Again, this game pushed to this week due to the smokeout a few weeks ago. But it would be the Kings' 2nd win in 4 games against the Metros. So you split the 4-game set with them. You've won 2 against one of the better teams in the division, and you won't have to play the Generals or the Metros, at least moving forward. 0-1 the count on Nico Ong. So the Kings, with a 3rd straight win and an easier schedule moving forward, a possibility to rack up some wins and climb up this Wolf Division ladder, especially given the heart of their lineup is starting to produce, especially those key players. Ong comes up empty, and the Metros down to their final strike. But the Kings, no doubt, playing better. Won't improve upon the errors in the base running, but in much better shape than when they started this season. 0-2 pitch. Tapper back to the mound. Over Kempler, Sestawicki charging, fires to first in time to retire the Metros. Great job by Kempler in the 9th. 2 strikeouts, the walk, but then a ground out. And a nice play by Sestawicki to seal the deal here in the 9th. The Kings hold on. Jumped out early, 5-0, gave 2 runs back to the Metros, but then get 2 back in the 8th thanks to an RBI single, 2 RBI single by Ryan Jaros, who tallied 4 hits tonight, 4 for 5 for the Georgia Tech commit. An all-around great effort by the pitching and the hitting for the Kings, who win this one 7-2. They'll be right back in action tomorrow night as they open up the series against the Jersey Pilots tomorrow starting at 6:30. We'll have all that action for you right here at Moody Park. And again, they win 7-2. Great pitching. Corey Williams, Keene, Parsons, Caponis, and then Caleb Kempler sealing the deal here in the ninth, sealing a 7-2 Kings win over the Metros. They move to 4-8, seventh in the Wolf division, but they've won 3 straight. The Metros fall to 7-5, still third in the Wolf division, but they've dropped 4 of their last 5. The Kings trying to get some momentum going as they improve in all aspects of their game. Hitting, pitching, Strill's trying to work on fielding, but nonetheless, it's a 3rd straight win for the Kings. That'll wrap it up for us here tonight. Once again, it's a 7-2 Kings win over the Metros. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night as they're right back here at Moody Park facing off against the Jersey Pilots. For everyone here tonight, I'm Corey Miller saying good night from Trenton.